Ladies and gentlemen, we have another journal brought to you by GD Kid called Death's Journal. This is the 4th official journal in the journal series. And the front page of the journal reads this. Ugh, how am I supposed to write with these bony fingers? Anyways, Benny gave me a journal just in case I would like to reflect something off of it. And here I am. Hey, remember those priests? I know a little something about where they've been and what they do. Being the Reaper that I am a high-tier leader of the Dead Realm. Phantom was happy he was back. Today, there was a strange group of skeletons that kept bugging us. They keep mentioning Roger, and I don't even want them to be associated with my new bowman friend. Here we are in the Dead Realm. There's Mr. Death himself. I wonder if we'll ever get a name for him. I don't think we will. I think he will forever be known as Mr. Death. That's his official name. And then we have Phantom. General Phantom. That was the name I couldn't remember in the earlier video today. General Phantom. And they're staring down what looks to be Roger's archers. Now remember, this is the 4th journal in the journal series, so I'm curious to see how this story is going to continue as General Phantom does most of the work and then Mr. Death himself kind of finishes the job. I decided to let them run out of the Dead Realm, and they eventually found Roger without my guidance. But when the skeletons saw him as a normal archer, they got mad. I knew I couldn't trust them. So Mr. Death is on the side of Roger. Oh, right. There was the wedding in the last journal. This was Lizzie. It was Lizzie the cheerleader, but she turned into a suicidal bomb lady. And then Roger came back to life. So this is Lizzie and Roger. I almost forgot. And the skeletons are there trying to hunt down Lizzie and Roger. Or they came to find Roger and then discovered that Roger was no longer a skeleton, and now they're mad. But luckily, Mr. Death is here, and Mr. Death says, "What is up with you?" And Mr. Death completely destroys all these skeletons. The skeletons assembled themselves together again and were way too fast even for me, Mr. Death himself, to catch up. They stopped by the staircase, and yet another man was there at the top. Without hesitating, the skeletons decided to strike him down. Do they mean another man as in another priest? How many of these priests are there? What is their goal? What is their objective? The first time we saw them, they turned Crow into a god, and then they tried to turn Roger into the god, and Roger wanted none of that. And then the other one came and helped Lizzie, and now one's here, and we have Mr. Death as a central story character. What are these priests doing? Lizzie and Roger are here. What's up, guys? How you doing? Let's go up and take a look and see what the priest is going to do. Oh no, there's 6 skeletons. I almost said 4 because counting is hard. There are 4 skeletons, 6 skeletons. I actually even said it. 6 skeletons here, and they're about to completely decimate this poor defenseless priest. So now we don't have the priest. Why? Why did this priest willingly just die to these skeletons? When the man was struck, I was somehow transported as well, but not Roger or Lizzie. I landed in a city, and the skeletons were at the other end of the place. From what I could see all the way in the back, 2 individuals and dozens of priests were there. So here is Mr. Death teleported when the priest was struck. It seems that every time you hit a priest in this game, you get teleported to a faraway planet, or a faraway world, or a faraway faction. Mr. Death is staring down the hallway, and he sees a whole boatload of priests. A bunch of them, some skeletons, and what looks like a harvester and a police officer. We call them police officers, but they're actually just halberd units. Interesting. Who are these 2 individuals? Why are they behind a humongous wall of priests? And what do the skeletons want to do with them? Now, unluckily for the skeletons, they might kill the priests, but the halberd and the harvester are going to do a huge number on each of them, sending their bones flying. Completely squish them into the ground, and I'm waiting for the final swing. Was that the final swing? Oh no, there's one skeleton over here chasing the priest. The priests are trying to go to heal Mr. Death, which is hilarious because he's already dead. Kind of hard to heal something that's already dead. All those people came over to where I was and instantly spoke to me. The woman's name was Fiona, and the man next to him was Sire. Those skeletons were only a test to see where they'd go, and they did their job, bringing you to us. You're the only one worthy of knowing our secrets, Fiona explained. Our men here only exist so we know how people would react to gaining power. Crow did what we expected, but Roger didn't. Yet we gave him mercy due to his change of mind, Sire added. I was confused by all these words, and they told me that they were going to show me something, so I followed them. Interesting. We're starting to learn the purposes of these priests. These priests are here to see who's worthy of gaining power. The priests do bestow power strong enough to lift somebody up to the powerful status of a god. But who gives them that power? What gives these priests the ability to bestow such strength upon a person? Is there a higher being even more powerful than the god Crow? And so now we follow them as the priests all give Mr. Death his power. The healing, you see all the little healing beams going into Mr. Death. That's so funny. There was an even nicer looking city from where Fiona and Sire were leading me, and they told me their master was waiting there. Some locals, friends, and troops of their master came up to me and waved hello. More priests showed up as well. The duo was planning on a peaceful chat with their master and me, but he wasn't acting normally. Something seemed to be possessing him. I was able to sense it, and I told Fiona and Sire that they were unsettled about having to hurt their own master, but there was no other way. So let me get this straight. This ice giant was the master of Fiona and Sire, who are like the leaders of these priests who bestow god powers on mortals. What is going on? So are we in a transcendent plane, a plane above and beyond the normal Tabs universe, to provide all of these people enough power to be able to give someone like Crow the power to become a god, but still be beneath them? Are these priests each more powerful than Crow? Is this particular snake archer with the eyes more powerful than Crow? And who is this ice giant master of theirs? Not that it matters, because our lovely team, they must defeat the ice giant master. Now the ice giant is completely confused by all these snakes and a ballista in his back, but Mr. Death himself is in fighting the ice giant master, but he's being healed by about 24 priests. There's no way, there is absolutely no way that Mr. Death will die to this ice giant. Oh my goodness! Mr. Death just got punched into oblivion. Guys, oh, this got all the priests. Oh, that was close. I literally, the moment I was saying Mr. Death was not gonna die, he got punched into another plane of existence. After getting rid of whatever was in him, the big guy started talking. Fiona and Sire's leader was named Vugo, apparently the twin brother of Hugo. He turned away and smashed hobbits for fun and told me what he knew. All of us have been hiding out in the peace domain where we stay. Hugo, as you know him, doesn't know that I exist. I don't plan on him knowing either. I've seen your so-called god Crow, and he's been doing a fantastic job at keeping you safe. Anyways, let me get to the point here. You, Mr. Death himself, were brought here to know the secrets of the domain. If you dare tell anyone of our resting place, even a small child, bad things will happen. The past will exist in the now, the future will be different, and your fate will likely change. I promised I would keep it a secret, and I watched as he smashed the hobbits into furry-footed bodies. Why is it always hobbits? It's always hobbits. These poor guys are about to be destroyed by Vugo. So, my suspicion was correct. This is a place called the Peace Domain. This is where those priests came from. They come from the Peace Domain. And in this Peace Domain, it is a higher plane of existence, I would imagine, than the totally accurate battle simulator world that we exist in. So the god Crow is powerful in his world, but here in the Peace Domain, he's just a regular old knight. Very, very fascinating. And now Vugo is about to punch That's so mean. I was sent back to the real world and went over to the farm town, sitting by one of the trees. Larry and Helga came close to me, asking if I was feeling okay. I didn't respond and left them, but they followed me. So Larry and Helga are curious about Mr. Death. Their friend, Mr. Death, because, it's okay to be friends with Death. Why not? And they're asking him, like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? Why are you so upset? Why are you so quiet? Why are you so subdued? But Mr. Death can't say anything. He was made a promise to not spill his guts about the secret of the Peace Domain. So they go to leave. Obviously, the game ends, or the round ends, and we move on to the next part of our story, the next chapter, and Larry is standing really awkwardly right now. They purposely made me run into Crow and Benny. And then they started getting curious about what I was feeling or how I was feeling. I couldn't tell them, so I turned away again. It seems that all of our friends are going to start ganging up on Mr. Death himself, and they're going to get Mr. Death to spill the beans. You got Larry and Helga, you've got Benny and the Night Crow, my physical representation of my god body, and they're not going to, Mr. Death's not going to say anything. Mr. Death is going to keep his secrets. Mr. Death will not spill the beans. Or will he? It eventually got to the point where I was cornered by the castle, by everyone, and I had no choice but to reveal everything. As soon as I had finished telling them, people appeared. Benny recognized the clan people and the harpooner, Crow saw King Philip and his loyal guard, along with snake archers. There was also Roger in his skeleton form from the past with his skeleton friends. Everyone from the past was in the now, and we had to get rid of them. So Mr. Death spilled his beans and told everyone the truth, and pretty much everyone is here. You've got one of the priests from the Peace Realm is here. There's Mr. Benny, Sammy the Scarecrow. You've got Larry, obviously. You've got General Fanta, I remembered this time. You've got Kira the Pirate Queen. You've got Ricky the Ninja. You've got Bjorn, Helga, Roger, a catapult. I know that's supposed to be General Rocky. Shh. Boom Boom Bella or Lizzie, depending on who's telling the story. The Night Crow, the Clam People, the other Roger. So you've got the living Roger, and then you've got the dead Roger from the past. The Soul Keepers, Snake Archers, King Philip and his entourage, a handful of musketeers, and a harpooner. This is quite the gathering. But don't worry, our heroes, our team, should be more than capable of taking care of everything here. The ballista is down, the catapult is down. Mr. Crow is in on the skeletons, dealing with them no problem. The evil undead Roger is about to get a taste of Crow's steel. Nope, never mind. Mr. Death himself got to it. King Philip is now fighting Ricky, Kira, Sammy, Phantom. Oh, King Philip is being bombed to death. He's dead. He left alive. Oh, just a couple of snake archers. And Mr. Phantom's like, yo, what's up? I got swords. After getting rid of all the past memories, everyone else and I were brought to the Peace Domain. Since it was no longer a secret, Hugo had warned me, and I had been pushed by my friends to blurt it out. Fiona and Sire realized that I shouldn't be killed for my mistake, and they turned on Hugo. The fight began. So, our two new people, Fiona and Sire, are here to fight against Hugo, brother of Hugo, to stop Hugo from seeking his revenge, his punishment upon Mr. Death himself. And all of our friends are here as we fight the ice giant Hugo. This should not be too hard. Oh, Hugo is knocked on a bunch of people. Larry is down. Ricky is down. Roger is down. Benny is down. Lizzie's down. The priest is down. There's a whole bunch of people injured. Victory on Hugo, but at what cost? Since Hugo was knocked out, we took that chance to bring Fiona and Sire into the real world. They were slightly shaken by the fact that they were around somewhere new, and Larry, Helga, and I invited them while Roger was doing some target practice with the priest. That's so rude. Why would you do target practice on the priest? The priest is just trying to do his job. The priest is a happy person. Don't hurt the priest who's over there in a tree about to get shot at. Just got chilling there. Roger, come on. There you go. Nice shot, Mr. Roger. Hugo, you there? In the vast icy lands, Hugo awakens. He doesn't know how to talk, but definitely can write. Somehow. He's on a journey now, which will be revealed next time. I can't wait for Hugo's journal.